Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
First on Fox 13 News, we've been seeing the storm brew in southern Utah all afternoon, and it is now headed to northern Utah. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Evans. Take a look at this panoramic picture captured of the beautiful clouds and sunset above the Lone Peak football game in Highland down in Utah County. It looks nice right now, doesn't it? Well, it's not going to stay that way. This video was posted on social media by Goblin Valley State Park. The river at Chute Wash and Chute Canyon is raging, as you can see. And check this out. This is just one of many examples of Utahns hydroplaning in the rain. We caught this from one of the UDOT cameras earlier today along Main Street in Beaver. It's just another reminder that we've all got to be careful in weather like this. Let's start with Utah's Weather Authority, Breck Bolton. You said it was going to be like this, and lo and behold, it is.
Here it is. We mentioned the surge of moisture, and you're right, Bob, initially starting in southern Utah, migrating towards the north. We've been seeing an impact here central into northern Utah. Portions of northern Utah, especially across the Wasatch back, we're finding rain currently. But rain up to this point where the big focus has been across portions of central and southern Utah. Amounts, as you can see, Manti picking up about 3/4 of an inch, 6/10 of an inch in Panguitch, just shy of 1/2 of an inch in Panguitch and Beaver. Zion National Park, where earlier on we had a flash flood warning in effect moving through the afternoon. I mentioned the rain falling currently as we look in portions of Wasatch and Summit counties. We can see Heber currently as you make your move along Main Street. We've got the rain falling. We mentioned that hydroplaning where showers will be in effect, and the chance here moving in the overnight hours, which possibly could be impacting your morning commute because we're streamlining the moisture where we're seeing those showers again coming through currently as you make your move through Spanish Fort Canyon, heading up, as I mentioned, towards Summit County. But we're not done across the south. No, we're getting things going once again. You can see Washington County, things lining up. Some intense thunderstorms making their move right now. Once again, Zion National Park under threat here as this little line of showers and thunderstorms make their move, and is definitely producing some heavy precipitation as we look from radar, seeing some of those reds. As we look west central Utah, areas such as Delta, Milford, and then tracking up towards Delta, or I should say up towards Tooele County, we see a threat of some showers here in the overnight hours. Again, as we take a look, though, what we've been seeing here, showing you that traffic camera up through Heber, that's where we're finding the rain, which potentially impacting Park City, heading over towards Camas. Flood watches still in effect for central, southern, eastern Utah. We are not done with this storm. We said it was going to be a multiple day storm. And what does that mean for your weekend plans? We'll answer that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Breck, thanks so much. You mentioned Zion National Park. The biggest threat today was in southern Utah, as Breck just mentioned. Heavy rains led to conditions ripe for flash flooding. Fox 13 News reporter Chris Reed has the story from Zion National Park.
For a brief time on Thursday, there was a pretty good downpour here. And it's just the beginning of what's expected to be a very wet weekend in southern Utah. Mike Hotel was visiting from South Carolina after just celebrating his 61st birthday. He came here 20 years ago with his kids, but wanted to try the Narrows as an empty nester.
But I think the window's going to close for that because we're supposed to get rain tonight, and with the water coming in, you won't be able to do it. Yeah, my window's closing to be able to do some physical stuff like this.
Thursday afternoon, a heavy downpour turned a flood watch into a warning. I'm on the high ground, no closer than the person should be near the Virgin River during a flood warning. This river has gone up as much as 42% in the last couple hours. It's receded a bit, but you can still see the watermark right about here from where it crested just a short time ago. And the heavy rain caused other potential dangers for tourists, including a rockfall at Weeping Rock.
We were heading towards the Weeping Rock, and then ranger came out and then just asked if we had noticed a rock fall, because they had a rock fall, and then like the buses stopped for a little while. We felt completely safe. The rangers were on it.
Cities across southern and central Utah have been prepping for this rain, doing what they can to mitigate flooding. The greater St. George area was spared Thursday. That include the burn scar areas of Pine Valley that have been prepping for the worst. But back in Zion, for the tourists who've traveled from afar, they're making the best of it.
No rain's gonna spoil the day.
From Zion National Park, Chris Reed, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Stay on top of this storm by downloading Utah's Weather Authority app. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. I'll give you a second to get your phone out so you can do that. The app provides hourly forecasts, satellite imagery, and alerts to stay up to date on severe weather. You got the QR code? Okay, moving on. It was just last weekend that storm drains in parts of the Salt Lake Valley were overwhelmed. 24 homes in Rose Park were flooded, in some cases with feet of water. Obviously trying and frustrating for homeowners that followed. Tonight, we saw residents rally to help each other in the last week, and tonight they ate dinner together and thanked one another as part of a block party.
I got a phone call or a text message on Saturday night asking if we could get 10 to 20 volunteers for sandbagging, and that really turned into a big volunteer effort on Sunday with about 150 people coming down here, and then volunteer opportunities throughout the week, working actually in individual homes. And we just thought we wanted to kind of wrap it all up with a dinner, bringing the volunteers and the residents together.
Salt Lake City declared a state of emergency earlier this week to help residents with flooding damage, make it possible for them to seek state or federal recovery funds. Now in other news, lawyers for the accused killer of Charlie Kirk have cast a wide net for evidence. Tyler Robinson's defense team filed a motion to preserve evidence. That's pretty standard in a criminal case. But they are asking for all evidence from any law enforcement agency involved in the investigation. It's hard to know the real impact. Dozens of agencies responded to the scene, but most did not interact with physical evidence and would have turned it over to the agencies with jurisdiction. They also asked to be notified if any testing of evidence could potentially destroy it. In the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination, a new public opinion poll says 88% of U.S. citizens are worried about political violence. Noble Predictive Insights conducted the survey. They show 77% of Utahns are either very concerned or somewhat concerned. 85% of Utahns surveyed say it's getting worse than it was 5 years ago. And who do they blame for it? Well, social media. 83% of those surveyed say social media companies have contributed to political violence. Only 10% say they haven't. Noble Predictive Insights says Republicans, who often tout free speech online, are more likely to blame technology, with 9 out of 10 surveyed saying so. Democrats and independents are close behind at 79%. And 95% of those surveyed want their elected leaders to speak out and demand civility from each other to reduce tensions. Looks like the legislature introduced a new chapter to the saga of redistricting in Utah. They face a possible injunction against the map they approved this week, and Governor Cox signed into law. During the Monday special session, lawmakers took a second swing at the rules for redistricting as drawn up in voter-approved Proposition 4. Voter rights groups who prevailed in court once have sued again. They say the new law also undermines Prop 4, but the legislature's lawyers say it's the plaintiffs who are trying to undermine the work of lawmakers. We all know finding affordable housing in Utah is tough, really tough right now. So some leaders are working to find fixes, seeking different solutions. And tonight, Fox 13 News reporter Maithili Gubi, who covers Weber County for us, takes us to far west where they are changing a city ordinance to help families.
I love the garden. I love the chickens. I love the swimming pool.
Kathy Baird has lived in Far West for the past 10 years at this home with a large backyard that she loves.
And now, truly, I love it even more because my dad has this great spot.
Kathy's dad has lived with her and her husband for 16 years.
It's been wonderful for our grandchildren to have a great grandpa around every Sunday dinner and all the fun things. But we kind of felt like we needed a little more space. He needed a little more space. So someone down the street had actually built one of these for their mother-in-law. And so we thought, well, that's a good idea.
So they built an accessory dwelling unit, or ADU, on their property for Kathy's dad. It has a separate entrance and is a fully functional home.
A peace of mind, having my dad comfortable, having him close by, him being able to be independent is priceless.
So Kathy's home has an attached ADU because her dad's unit shares a wall with the main house. But this year, Far West City passed an ordinance to also allow detached ADUs, giving people here another option when it comes to housing.
If we can help solve some of the housing issues with solutions like this, there's less need for building high-density housing like apartments and stuff that, quite frankly, in our city, people are not really interested in.
Ken Phippen is the mayor. He said to build a detached ADU, people do have to get a conditional use permit and follow some guidelines like...
You got to have enough property to put one on. You got to have the right setbacks. You need to be able to hook to utilities, which is important, and you need sufficient parking.
Cities have to comply with housing strategies lined out by the state. Now, even though ordinances to allow ADUs are not required yet, Mayor Phippen says they're trying to be ahead of the curve to give people a way to have affordable housing.
So it can keep families together, it can expand those kinds of things, it can keep people in their homes for longer.
Kathy says their ADU gives her security, knowing that if anyone in her family needs a place to be, their home has room for them. In Far West, I am Maithili Gubbi, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Coming up, it's a popular prank that's been around for generations, but for some Utahns, it isn't funny. How some people being ding-dong ditched are winding up in jail. Plus, Tusk's up. The Utah Mammoth season is officially here. Hear from some excited hockey fans who are optimistic about the home team. They've sold out every game since 2016. Some call them the greatest show in sports. And the Savannah Bananas are headed back to Utah. Dates and ticket details ahead.
You're watching Fox 13 News, part of the Scripps News Group.
Breck, I got to ask you how it feels to be so right about what you were forecasting earlier. I mean, this is Zion Park Boulevard down there in the southern part of the state. Yeah, Zion National Park.
Yeah, this is round 2 there. It got hit pretty good this afternoon with that flash flood warning in effect, and potentially we're going to be looking at more flash flooding here over the next couple of days. So this is something we're going to keep an eye on. Yeah, we're going to be very active, and I'm going to be busy here for the next couple of days.
All right, the folks in Springdale are paying attention tonight. New tonight, we're learning of a recent trend of assaults linked to the age-old prank of ding-dong ditching. Now, who didn't do this? But it's not the kids ringing the doorbell and running away that are getting in trouble with the law. It's the adults who are being pranked. It has happened 3 times now in 3 different Utah cities. Happened in Riverton in June, Salt Lake City in August, and Mapleton just a few weeks ago. Now, here's what we know about this latest incident in Mapleton. Court documents indicate 56-year-old Lisa Ramirez had chased down the juveniles who pranked her and brandished a pepper spray pistol at them. She's also accused of using her palm to strike one of the pranksters in the chest multiple times, leaving a large red mark on his body. Ramirez was arrested on charges of child abuse, disorderly conduct, and threatening with a dangerous weapon. She is out on bail tonight. Salt Lake Community College tonight had the opening of a new art exhibit showcasing Latin American culture. The featured Latin American artists live here in Utah. The exhibit celebrates their creativity and contributions to the state's art scene.
It's the sharing of stories, both through painting, through sculpture. As you will see, there are pieces, there are photographs. They are universal, we can all share in them. You don't need to know the language, it's art, it's a universal language.
The gallery is on the Slick campus, SLCC, Salt Lake Community College in South Salt Lake. Well, tonight is also the night for Utah hockey fans. The Utah Mammoth kicked off their regular season with a game on the road against the Colorado Avalanche. Jeff Rainier will have a recap later in Fox 13 Sports. But tonight, fans gathered to watch their home team at Beer Bar in downtown Salt Lake. We caught up with some of them.
The atmosphere and all the expectation for what's going to happen this season is unreal. So we've already got a packed house. Everybody's excited to see what the Mammoth are going to do this year.
Clayton Keller is an absolute stud.
Yeah, Logan Cooley, man. I'm excited to see him.
And Petraka, too. Don't forget about him. We're going to be a stellar team this year. Yeah. A force to be reckoned with.
That's right. The team's home opener is at the Delta Center on October 15th. Hope you got your tickets already. So the rain came down. We saw the slot canyons down in Zion National Park there, and my goodness gracious, now it's coming down again. Where is that? Deer
This
Hollow?
is up. No, this
US
is
40?
up near Jordanelle Reservoir. So that band of moisture that was in southern Utah throughout the afternoon now making its move here across portions of northern Utah. We saw the showers tracking through Utah County, moving up through Wasatch, now Summit counties, as it's going to continue to make its move a little bit towards northeastern Utah and then across southwest Wyoming. But this is just one of the waves that's going to be pushing through. We've got several waves of rain and thunderstorms on track to be coming through the area moving ahead, where, as we mentioned earlier on, we had the showers that push further northward across southern Utah, but then we've got a resurgence going on as we showed you those traffic cameras near Zion National Park over towards Springdale. This is an area where we are seeing some heavy precipitation. So this supply of moisture coming in from the south, generating these showers near Beaver right now, where earlier on you had almost a half of an inch of rain throughout the afternoon. And then turning towards southeastern Utah, Arches, Moab, down through Canyonlands, Blanding, also getting hit with some rain currently. But there across northern Utah, it's mainly along the Wasatch back where we're seeing that impact. Flood watch, though, as mentioned, will be in effect still here throughout the weekend until early Sunday morning, where the rain will continue on because this push of moisture coming in from Hurricane Priscilla, now a tropical storm. It continues to weaken, but it's still packing a lot of moisture, and it's making its push here where, as I said, it's going to be coming in waves. But we have another feature which is really going to kick up the threat of some thunderstorm activity moving through the weekend. Right now, not much going on here along the Wasatch Front through the valley locations. Temperatures still in the 70s at this hour in Salt Lake City. Winds out of the south. It's breezy out there. The south flow coming in. That's why, as we're seeing the moisture coming in from the south, that supply does continue on. So thunderstorms in effect for tomorrow. Heavy precipitation, flooding concerns, especially as we look towards some of those slot canyons across southern Utah. Now, as I mentioned, that cold front for Saturday night, it's coming through. It will bring mountain snow, but let's get you through for the next 24 hours, where across southern Utah tomorrow, it's kind of rare that we see this elevated risk concern for flash flood potential for southern Utah, where we're in the red, where it's going to happen in these areas as we look for tonight through tomorrow, including Zion National Park, as you're seeing evidence of that right now. So tomorrow, where we see the excessive rain, is this color category of yellow here throughout most of southern into eastern Utah. Portions of northern Utah, you're going to get hit with some rain in the overnight hours, as we showed you those showers again moving up through Summit County near Jordanelle Reservoir. We're going to have some standing water for your morning commute and chances of rain here throughout the morning. Then Saturday, from the Storm Prediction Center, elevated risk for some thunderstorm activity because that second feature, that cold front, which is going to come through, really brings the instability as we head into Saturday evening. Okay, as we take the wide view, though, I mentioned that cold front there. It's making its push now coming through portions of the Pacific Northwest through Northern California. Slow to move, but it gets here a little delayed as we head into Saturday evening. That's where we're going to be really kicking in those thunderstorms, and even a possibility with some lightning and thunder just in time for the Utes game on Saturday evening. But tonight, as we're seeing those showers pushing through overnight, you might wake up, little snap, crackle, and pop with some thunderstorms and rain that pushes through the morning hours. So you'll have to be cautious for your morning commute, especially if you're coming down through Parley's Canyon. But even along the Wasatch Front, we could have some showers and some standing water as well. well. But moving through the afternoon, the focus will be across central into northeastern Utah. St. George, the rain continues on tomorrow through Saturday, then clearing off, a little bit cooler. Then you're getting a break. Temperatures remain in the 70s and 60s and a little bit cooler by the middle of next week. The shower threat tomorrow, really as we go morning mainly, and then overnight. So tomorrow evening you should be good to go. Saturday and Sunday, it's scattered rain showers, especially as we move into the afternoon and evening, and then early Sunday morning. Then we're clearing out. We're seeing another chance of some showers potentially Wednesday and Thursday. So we're under the storm cycle, and it continues on.
Okay, Breck, thanks so much. Coming up, good news for Utah violinist John Shin, who made headlines earlier this summer after he was detained for a couple of weeks by ICE. Details next. Now to a Fox 13 News follow-up on a story we've been tracking for months now. We've learned that Utah violinist John Shin, who spent weeks in immigration detention in Colorado, is finally free from the threat of deportation. Shin was arrested by ICE in August. He was detained because of a drunk driving conviction from 2020. Shin had already completed probation for that offense. He was born in Korea and is married to a U.S. citizen and originally came to the U.S. on his father's student visa. You may remember the moment last month when he was released from ICE detention in Colorado. Well, today a judge granted a motion to terminate Shin's removal proceedings after the government failed to respond within the required time. Shin is now filing for his green card. A moment of peace at the Utah State Prison. State Representative Melissa Garf Ballard and violinist David Park gave a concert for women there. This video was provided to Fox 13 News by the Utah Department of Corrections. Ballard and Park will go from the Utah State Prison to performing at New York City's Carnegie Hall this Saturday.
Coming up, we spoke to local activists about the Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal in Gaza and what it means to them.
And play ball! Well, it's Banana Ball. How you can see the wildly popular Savannah Bananas League teams in action right here in Utah. Just a moment ago, Breck, you showed us Highway 40. This is Main Street in Heber City.
Yeah, go from 40 into Heber. You're seeing the rain right along Main Street. So we've been showing the rain for southern and northern Utah right now. We knew the storm would have statewide implications. Is that what we're finding right now?
You know, interesting that on the Wasatch Back, there's so much water back there, but down here in the valley, it's
right now, not the case. But Bob, overnight, we will see some rain here along the valley floors. Moving from Utah into Salt Lake County, you can see the reason why, because we've got a lot of moisture, our second batch coming through. This push, as you can see through west central Utah, if you kind of follow its line of trajectory, it will be moving here along the Wasatch Front. We're seeing some heavy rain once again across Washington County, moving into Kane County, as well as you can see those showers pushing through. The possibility of flash flooding, in fact here even for tonight, through some of those areas as they're prone to flash flooding, like in Zion National Park, heading up through Bryce Canyon as well. So we're going to keep an eye on this. As we move further northward though, right now we are mainly seeing the showers through the Wasatch Back, Wasatch and Summit counties, and then tracking over towards areas as we move further north into Duchesne County and southwest Wyoming. But you can see the heavy rain that's just threatening near Park City over towards Camas. As we'll be looking for tonight though, once we get past midnight, mostly cloudy conditions and rain showers for the valley floors, which means morning commute could be wet. And we're just getting started with this storm. How long will it last? I'll let you know coming up.
Okay, Breck, thanks so much. As we work to cover storms all over Utah, Fox 13 News was in Springville tonight. This is what it was doing. Yeah, this was near I-15 where the rain was really intense at times. And with it came some powerful thunder and lightning. Drivers we talked to described dicey conditions.
There were especially some parts when it was coming down so heavy. Everybody was slowed down to like 40, 45 miles per hour. People had their hazards on. It was pretty crazy.
When it does rain, when you're out on the road, any extra precautions you take?
Just slow it down, keep your lights on, try to be aware of people around you, and just take it easy.
Yeah, great advice when the roads are covered with water like they are tonight and into tomorrow. Okay, we're switching gears in a big way right now. The Israeli government has officially signed off on a historic peace deal with Hamas and the return of the remaining hostages. President Trump seized on souring public opinion of Israel's Gaza campaign to convince Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to end the war. Meanwhile, Hamas faced pressure from Arab states who did not want to get caught up in a growing regional conflict. A post on Truth Social from President Trump giving Hamas a Sunday deadline added urgency to the negotiations.
That's why today we have a peace deal, because Hamas has no place to go. Absolutely no place to go. They have no more friends.
Hamas says the U.S. has guaranteed the war is over for good. Mr. Trump's plan calls for a temporary international stabilization force created by the U.S. and its Arab partners. President Trump plans to travel to the Middle East as early as Sunday. Many people around the world are eager to hear next steps in the Middle East conflicts, including Utahns. Fox 13 News reporter Julia Sandor has that part of the story.
The Gaza Health Ministry and the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs report more than 68,000 Palestinians and more than 1,900 Israelis have been killed in this conflict. Now, a new deal would enact a ceasefire and release all of the Israeli hostages in Gaza, as well as release some Palestinian prisoners.
My initial reaction was skepticism, and I hate to say that because I don't want to seem ungrateful of any kind of progress, and I think all progress is a win.
Tala is a first-generation Palestinian living in Utah. Her feelings stem from what she's seen over the past 2 years, when other ceasefire deals have been broken.
There needs to be action shown throughout the ceasefire to make sure it's being held up.
But with the skepticism, there is still hope. One local rabbi, Samuel Spector, says this deal is a step forward.
We're in the holiday of Sukkot, which we are commanded to be happy and joyful for. This is welcome, joyful news.
President Trump said that hostages, about 20 still living and 25 deceased, are likely to be released early next week. Part of this first phase of the deal includes Israeli forces withdrawing to lines, leaving them in control of about 53% of the Gaza Strip.
Hopefully for both Israelis and Palestinians alike, there can be quiet, there can be peace, there can be an end to death and destruction.
The full ceasefire in Gaza would go into effect 24 hours after approval of the deal. For some, there's still many unanswered questions.
And I would like to see a plan put forward for after the ceasefire. How are we going to make it right that we've destroyed this entire city and we can't just leave them like this?
Julia Sandor, Fox 13 News, Utah.
In other national news, a federal judge has granted a temporary restraining order blocking President Trump's deployment of National Guard troops in Illinois for 14 days. In her ruling tonight, the judge said she sees, quote, no credible evidence, unquote, of a rebellion in the state. Her ruling added that a deployment of troops could spark civil unrest. Meanwhile, a case about the deployment of the Oregon National Guard is still under consideration. The Trump administration says troops are needed to quell unrest in what it describes as violence-ridden, Democratic-led cities. Here's another indictment against a person President Trump calls an enemy. New York Attorney General Letitia James now faces 2 felony charges related to bank fraud. The Justice Department says James has been under investigation since May over a 2023 mortgage she took out to help her niece buy a home in Norfolk, Virginia. The charges come one day after another Trump foil, former FBI Director James Comey, pleaded not guilty to lying to Congress. As New York Attorney General, Letitia James won a civil fraud case against President Trump, his sons, and their real estate business.
AI, NIL, and the future of Salt Lake as a sports hub. We have coverage of Visit Salt Lake's 4th Annual Sports Tourism Summit coming up.
The push to get a Major League Baseball expansion team, and with the 2034 Winter Olympics coming to Utah, the topic of sports tourism is important for those trying to make Utah the right place for sports fans. Fox 13 News reporter Jeremy Toms takes us to Rice-Eccles Stadium for this year's Sports Tourism Summit.
Tourism is the front door to economic development, which I so strongly believe.
Speakers focused on the future of the industry and what they think will provide the keys to unlocking more of those doors. From using AI.
We're launching an AI-powered concierge, an AI visitor's guide. Ask it a question. This is to help visitors kind of plan their trip, where to go.
To discussing NIL and what's next for collegiate athletics.
We are now paying our student athletes for their services, so that's $20.5 million this year, additional ledger money.
But national data suggests the strongest growth can be found at your local ballpark.
Between 2023 and 2024, we saw 314 million sports travelers in the U.S. The really interesting part of this is participatory made up 65% of that.
Clay Partain with Sports Salt Lake says participatory sports means youth and amateur sports.
I think it's become one of the people's non-negotiables for their families.
Even though the Rice-Eccles or the Delta Center will attract fans by the thousands, people are spending more and staying longer overall for those participatory events.
Sports tourism in the youth and amateur space is about 1/3 of what we're now doing as an organization. It helps us pay less in taxes. It creates more money for local venues, for the residents.
President and CEO Caitlin Eskelson says the hospitality industry supports 56,000 jobs in the county, and the additive dollars coming from tourism here brings an estimated $1,700 tax reduction per household in Salt Lake County each year. So they're looking to further harness the county's potential as they build towards being on the Olympic stage.
There's this amazing runway between now and 2034 that we have an amazing opportunity to attract national and international events into our market. You name the sport, we could probably host it in Salt Lake.
In Salt Lake City, Jeremy Toms, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The state of Utah is reporting a big return on investment in its cloud seeding program.
Jackson Dart had another big game as the New York Giants quarterback tonight against the defending champs. And the Utah Mammoth started the season tonight in Colorado. Dylan Gunther scored a goal. Could they get the win? We'll show you coming up in sports.
Utah's investment in cloud seeding is showing signs of paying off. Today we got new data about how the program is working in the drought. Fox 13 News political reporter Ben Winslow has more.
We're off to a great start this water year. Hopefully it's not a repeat of last year's pattern.
The group that oversees Utah's water resources got some good news when it comes to cloud seeding. That's pumping silver iodide into the atmosphere to squeeze a little more precipitation out of a storm.
The statewide average is 10.4% increase in snowpack.
To help in Utah's drought and the crisis facing the Great Salt Lake and the Colorado River, Utah jumped into cloud seeding in a big way. The legislature upped the budget from $200,000 a few years ago to nearly $16 million. That allowed the state to invest in remote-controlled generators.
When it improves the efficiency, they can be turned on and off quicker, and it also improves the effectiveness because they can be placed at higher elevations, above temperature inversions, for example.
The state is also purchasing new drones to do cloud seeding. That helps in areas like the La Salle Mountains in southeastern Utah, where they found ground generators don't work as well because of climate patterns in that region.
I think it's really exciting that we're leading the world.
Dana Van Horn, who represents southeastern Utah communities on the board, says it could help.
If we can increase the snowpack in the La Salle Mountains, I think that it'll directly impact the Colorado River flow.
In fact, lower Colorado River Basin states are now paying Utah to do cloud seeding because it benefits them.
They recognize that the water supply for the Colorado is in our mountains.
Idaho has also started kicking in money to help the Bear River and the Great Salt Lake. The state is also partnering with academic institutions for research on cloud seeding. Silver iodide is found to be safe.
Cloud seeding is a part of a silver buckshot method. There are no silver bullets as it relates to solving our Western water issues.
But environmentalists caution that cloud seeding is just one tool to help.
You know, I think the best thing that we could be doing is just reducing our use all over the place, but that's painful. This is a somewhat expensive way to mitigate that pain.
The intent of cloud seeding is to increase the amount of snowpack, even if it's a small amount.
The state plans to roll out more of those cloud seeding drones in the coming months. In West Jordan, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, here with the storms that we're seeing right now, this is just all Mother Nature supplying the moisture coming in from the south. We've been highlighting that we're seeing the surge of moisture again with tropical weather moving off the west coast of California, the west coast of Mexico through Baja California, where, yeah, that surge of moisture producing the rain showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon and making its move here along the Wasatch Front. Not so much in the valleys, it's definitely the Wasatch back. Temperatures, though, under a southerly flow with winds howling anywhere between 20 to 25 miles per hour. It will be breezy, and we are expecting to see some rain here overnight across portions of northern Utah. Tomorrow, under that southerly flow, mid-70s, so it's finding temperatures remaining above average through both tomorrow and Saturday as well. Flash flood potential, as mentioned, tomorrow elevated even more so. You see those areas and categories in red. That's just expected. Glen Canyon, Grand Staircase, heading over towards Zion National Park earlier on. We did have flash flood warnings in effect for Zion National Park, at least on the east side. But a lot of rain expected all across the state. No one's missing out. Of course, we've been seeing that fair share here for today. But you can see Friday and Saturday throughout most of the state, we're going to be seeing the rain, especially across central into eastern Utah, but northern Utah getting into the mix. The difference in comparison to last week's storm, which moved through northern Utah, a lot of circulation. It was a slow moving storm. This is coming in waves, so we'll have moments of some heavy precipitation and then it will move on. We are expecting to see some improvements late Sunday heading into Monday, but this surge of moisture making its mark, as mentioned, across southern Utah. We've been seeing the showers from Kanab heading over towards Zion National Park. This batch of moisture moving towards the northeast. It tracks through the Wasatch Front here in the overnight hours, so you might wake up, get some lightning and thunder and heavy rain. This means some standing water for your morning commute, especially for the central and southern end of the Wasatch Front and traveling through the canyons. Cold front coming in. The combination and convergence of this front and the moisture that's in place being supplied from the south, that's going to generate some intense thunderstorm activity as we go into Saturday evening. But let's talk about what we're expecting for tomorrow. Again, overnight, this little push coming through, you can see it impacts here along the Wasatch Front just in time for the morning commute. We keep the rain showers going until about mid-morning. Then a little bit of a break here. We'll see a few isolated thunderstorms tomorrow evening, but you can see for most of the Wasatch, we should stay dry, but Wasatch back, different story. Southern Utah, you're finding the waves of showers heavy at time, especially as you can see across eastern Utah heading from Friday night through Saturday morning. Saturday morning here across northern Utah, we're good heading into the early evening hours, early afternoon hours, but across extreme northern Utah, there are chances of some afternoon showers, but most of the Wasatch Front, you're staying dry until this front hits. It comes through the evening. Heavy rainfall, thunderstorms, lightning, thunder. Could see some hail in addition in the overnight hours going some Saturday into Sunday morning. Tonight, though, those showers coming through here along the Wasatch Front. Overnight lows, you can see, getting down into the 60s. 70s tomorrow for most locations. A little cooler across northern eastern Utah as you have the showers both in the morning and afternoon. All right, let's line things up for the weekend. Tomorrow night, high school football. Wasatch Front, we should be fine. Mostly cloudy to partly cloudy conditions. We don't see the rain threat except as we look towards the Wasatch back. And then Saturday morning, making strides as we're doing that walk there. Looks like we're going to be okay. As mentioned, Saturday morning for any plans that you have, your kids' games, football, soccer, you're okay. But Saturday night for the Utes game, as they're taking on Arizona State. Looks like tailgating okay. You'll have some winds, though. Then the front hits by about 7 o'clock. That drops temperatures. Thunderstorms, definitely a high possibility. That means the game could be delayed just a bit. You'll have to take cover as that rain could be heavy at times. Now, let's go to St. George here for the weekend. Friday, Saturday, we've got the showers and some thunderstorms, concerns for flash flooding. Then we're drying out, seeing the sunshine. Northern Utah as it's 70s through Saturday, then cooler. Mountain snow, especially Saturday night through Sunday morning. Then we get a break Monday and Tuesday with a chance of some scattered rain showers Wednesday and Thursday.
The regular season is underway for the Utah Mammoth. They played their opener tonight in Colorado with new expectations. In year one in Utah, it was about playing in meaningful games down the stretch. Now it's about making the playoffs in season number 2. Mammoth forward Logan Cooley back in the lineup after missing most of the preseason. It was the Avalanche, though, who took the early lead. They have the Utah defense on their heels. The pass goes back to Ross Colton. He fires it in for the goal to put the Avalanche up 1-0 midway through the first period. The Mammoth were scrambling, and Colton put it away for the first goal of the game. Then in the second period, Utah on a power play goes out to Dylan Gunther. He rips it past the goaltender for his first goal of the season, tying the score at 2. Keller with the assist right after the faceoff. The one-timer finds the back of the net and was all tied. Then early in the third period, the Avs back on the attack. It's Nathan McKinnon who puts it in. What a shot by the Avalanche superstar. Shoots it top shelf for the goal. To put Colorado back on top, they held on to win it 2-1. Former Roy and Corner Canyon High School quarterback Jackson Dart made his third start for the New York Giants against the Philadelphia Eagles. On their first drive of the game, Dart pushed out of the pocket, takes off running, and goes 20 yards for his second rushing touchdown of the season that put the Giants up 7-3. Then on the Giants' next drive, Dart steps up to avoid the pressure on the run and throws it to Wandell Robinson. Slips a tackle and takes it the rest of the way. 35-yard touchdown. Dart's 4th TD pass of the season. Giants up 13-3. They went on to beat the Eagles 34-17 to improve to 2-1 with Dart as the starting QB. The Utah Jazz hoping to sign a star player in Ace Bailey with the 5th overall pick in the NBA draft. He looked great in his first preseason game last night, leading the team at 25 points and earning some high praise from Kevin Durant, his favorite player growing up.
In practices that we saw, but coming into this game.
The sound sounds like.
Oh, we don't have the sound.
He basically said he's really excited for him. Says he's a great-looking player. Happy that Utah picked him because they have a great developmental program here at Utah. So hopefully he can grow into what we all hope will be an all-star, at least a very good player.
My guess is over the next 6 weeks, we'll see just exactly where this season is going to go.
Yes.
Because we'll be able to get a good feel for how the team is gelling. So
there you go.
All right. Hey, before we go to break, we have a quick programming note to pass along. The National Women's Soccer League is on ION. Saturday at 3 o'clock. The showdowns just keep coming. Gotham FC has something to prove against the Kansas City Current. Then at 5:30, the North Carolina Courage takes on the Washington Spirit. ION is owned by Scripps, the same company that owns KSTU Fox 13. We'll be right back. They came in August of last year. Banana Ball is coming back to the Beehive State, likely the most popular baseball team in the country. The Savannah Bananas have announced their tour for next year, and 2 of the teams in their league are headed to the ballpark at America First Square. Ooh. The Party Animals and the Firefighters. Looked like that umpire had a bee in his shorts or something. They'll peel into South Jordan for 3 games, August 13th through the 15th. This is of next year, by the way. Yeah. To buy tickets, you got to enter their ticket lottery list, which is now open through Halloween. Basic tickets, $35. Meet and greet tickets start at $100.
And like last time, they sold out. Like, people flock to these games.
Yeah, it's fun. Isn't it fun to just sit and laugh?
It is a good time.
All right. Speaking of sitting and laughing, QuickCast is up next.